Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Katy Speziale. She is a self-taught artist, an award-winning author, a creativity cultivator, a growth catalyst, a celiac enthusiast, and a foodie. Welcome, Katy. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Brad.
It is my honor and my pleasure. I am so excited to jump in and share a little bit about your story and your journey and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. So with that being said, let's jump right in. I'm curious, was there a defining moment or experience that ignited your passion for art, leading you to become a painter? And how long have you been painting for?
So I've been painting for over 15 years now. With acrylic on canvas, at least. Mm-hmm. When I was a child, I was always into crafts, anything that involved art. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved it. But the defining moment would be a grade 8 project.
Okay.
So my grade 8 teacher brought an artist in, and we did the first acrylic painting on canvas that I've ever done. And at that point, I wasn't creating my own ideas. I was just like copying ideas on the internet. So it was a picture of Sylvester and Tweety, but I remember painting that first acrylic on canvas and I did not want to stop. I loved it so much. I think I actually stayed in for recesses just to keep working on it. And when she said the project was finished and okay, it's done, I was like, oh, but I want to do so much more on this painting. So that was kind of that defining moment. I love art and I want to keep going.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, exactly.
What drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do, Katy?
I think nature. Honestly, nature brings me so much inspiration. And what keeps me going too is the feeling that my art brings to people and seeing how much joy and inspiration I'm bringing to the world. And that really motivates me every single day. It's wow, like the stuff I'm creating is just so unique and I'm really empowering people to be who they are and not afraid to step into that, to own who they truly are. From seeing me be brave within my art. Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful gift to give to people. It really is. With you being a self-taught artist, I would love to hear your thoughts on formal educational training for the arts. And also, in your opinion, do you think it's necessary or are you of the mind that, you don't really need the training to be an artist?
I'm in the mindset of, you don't really need it. Like being a self-taught artist. I mean, I had the choice to go into the arts when I was choosing what to take in college or university. I ended up actually going for early childhood education because I thought that was the best option for me at the time. Right. And I felt like if I went into more of the art field and stuff like that creating art after I wouldn't enjoy it as much because it would make it so formal. Right. And so almost put it in a box. But I'm so out there and like to think outside the box that I don't want to be stuffed into a box. I want to just do my own thing. And so I don't think you need the formal education. I think if you have the drive and desire to create and it's your true purpose, nothing will stop you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I hear a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't have a creative bone in their bodies. It's just not who they are, or it's not within them. What are your thoughts on that? What do you say to people when you hear them say that to you as an artist?
I made that like the first part of my book, because it's like, I've heard people say that so many times, like, I'm not creative, but so-and-so's really creative. And it's, but you're creative too. I think we all have these amazing, beautiful imaginations, and we are all creative, just in different ways.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily realize that, but if you think about it, several different creative outlets. There's like dancing, gardening, baking, cooking, like singing, all sorts of different creative outlets.
Yeah.
But people tend to think of it as just, oh, art.
I can't even draw a stick. I could barely draw a stick figure, people say. That's what I've heard people say. But you're right. There are so many different avenues and outlets for creativity. It doesn't necessarily have to be painting or drawing. It can be so many different things.
Exactly. There's so many opportunities to be creative. And honestly, we're using our imaginations every day, whether we realize it or not. Like in our daily lives, we could be imagining things like thoughts. Oh, I can't do this. Or picturing where you're going in life, your goals. And if you're thinking and picturing things like that in your mind of your goals, where you're headed, you're going to head there a lot faster. But if you're thinking in that negative aspect and creating negative mental pictures in your mind, it's going to kind of draw you back. So you are creating your everyday life around you, consciously or unconsciously. So,
yeah, for sure. Mindset plays a huge piece in that, definitely.
It does, yeah.
Where, aside from nature, as you mentioned, where else do you pull inspiration from when you're creating your work?
Honestly, my own art is a big inspiration for me. Like every time I create something, I'm looking at my own art every single day. And it's funny. I'll tell you a story. There was this one painting I created, and I used paint chunks that I'd peeled off of one of my palettes. And I created, like, I glued them onto a canvas to create a heart. And within those like pieces of paint that I had just peeled off of a canvas, the one day, about a year later, I walked by that painting, and this one paint chunk caught my eye because it looked like there was like little lilies in it, and it had like purples and blues, some like almost like yellow flames. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that little paint chunk. I based an entire painting off of that after. I created a painting called Pieces Flowing and did like those lilies. And so I created a painting based off of a paint chunk. So honestly, there's inspiration in like everything in life if you're willing to see it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're willing to open your eyes to it and open your mind to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure. What is your favorite thing, or what lights you up the most about being an artist?
I think the fact that there's endless possibilities. Like, it's so broad what you can create with paint, with pencils, with any creative material. It's so broad, and you can create the most beautiful masterpieces. Again, if you're open to doing so.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think there's any mistakes in art. I believe that if you're open, like when I'm creating something, if I smudge across the canvas somewhere else, I'm like, okay, well, something else is meant to go there.
There are no rules.
There isn't. There really isn't. And if you have that mindset when you go into it, whenever I make so-called mistakes, as people think of them, I think of it as an opportunity, and the painting turns out like 1,000 times better than it would have if I stuck to that original plan.
But so many people get stuck in those rules and in the box that you have to do it this way. But no, there's no rules to creating art. Whatever your mind can see, you can create.
Exactly. Or something you didn't see in the first place, and it just happens.
Exactly.
You're just led to it.
Yeah. This is something I love to speak to artists about, and it's about dealing with creative blocks. We all get them as artists. So I'm curious how you deal with those artistic blocks or creative blocks when you get them. And what have you found that helps you the most when they do come up?
There's a couple things for that. So one of the things I would say is doing something I love other than art. Because when I'm doing something that I love, say like walking or baking, and I'm in that state of flow and just like having fun, being happy, then I find I'm more inspired to do other things. Mm-hmm. So then even if I toss it in the air, what's something I can paint? Then I think of a new idea from there.
Right.
But I also think if you're going through a creative block, like sometimes just grabbing a canvas, choosing some colors, whatever like lights you up at the moment, whatever feels good. Mm-hmm. And then literally just like starting to slap it on the canvas is sometimes what takes away that block. It's if you just, okay, let's see what happens and just go for it.
Yeah.
You might start to get that creative flow back, because then it's like, oh, this painting's starting to look like a sunset. And then you go from there. Or, oh, it's starting to look like this, and you turn it into this other idea. Like other ideas start to pop up from there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know that a lot of artists, painters, writers, songwriters, musicians, a lot of them have a creative process when they set out to create their art. Can you share and describe what your creative process is, and how do you navigate the balance between inspiration and discipline when you start a new painting?
Yeah. So I think like throughout my whole process, it's really coming up with the ideas in the first place, which is, like I said before, doing something I love. I'm kind of tossing it in the air, like, what can I paint today? And ideas just start brewing. And then when I'm feeling that inspiring moment, I grab my canvas and just start going at it. But I usually listen to a podcast or something uplifting and inspiring. Mm-hmm. And that really infuses that energy into the painting as well.
Yeah.
Because I find if I'm like in a bad mood, my art will like
reflect it.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm in a really peaceful attitude, then my art will reflect that as well. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really want to reflect in my art, is growth and peace and just happiness and joy and all those beautiful things. So that's what's emanating from people's walls.
Yeah. Do you sketch out your ideas first, or do you go right to canvas and just start painting? Or
I actually do sketch out my ideas, and they are some really rough looking sketches. I'm gonna lie. You know what? For the longest time, I didn't feel like I was good at drawing. I was like, well, I can paint anything, but I can't really draw. But I'm opening myself up to that lately. It's, you know what? I can do anything I want. You have to be in that mindset. But I do a little sketch, just in pen, pencil, whatever's near when I happen to get those ideas. I keep an ideas book.
Okay.
So whenever something pops into my head, I either jot it in my phone if I'm not around the book.
Yeah.
Or I'll just sketch the idea really fast, and I kind of draw like the canvas, the rectangle or whatever. And then just my ideas of where things are going to go. I'll make arrows with the colors I'm going to add.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So
do you
give me a direction, but I'm still open to change.
Right. Do you create every day?
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
just
lie.
Curious.
I don't. There's sometimes when I go for like a whole week without painting.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to get back into the groove when you do that, when that does happen?
The only thing that holds me back is my mindset. It's to get back into it. It's like, I'll be like, oh, I'll just put it off, paint another day. But then it's all like, just do it. Just do it. You're going to have fun. So it's like pushing myself into it.
I also love asking this question of artists and creatives. And you'd mentioned that you believe that everyone has creativity within them. It's just, I guess basically it is innate. We are all born with some kind of creativity, but I often wonder and think about the fact that when it comes to artists, athletes, musicians, there's some that are just another level. It's almost like it's I don't even know how to describe it, but it's this other level of artistic ability and skill set when it comes to certain people. Like I think of Picasso and Beethoven and all of these musicians, painters, athletes, Michael Jordan, that just have this insane level of skill. And it's like they are just born with that natural ability. Now, that's not to say that they don't have to practice, but I'm curious your thoughts. Do you think that it's possible for the normal or the average person to obtain and achieve that level of skill that these ones that seem like they're just born with it? Do you think that's possible?
I do think that's possible. I think some people are born with that innate ability, but I also do think, as for anything in life, if you practice, if you have the desire and drive to do something, you can achieve anything you truly want. So I think if someone does have the desire to create in these specific ways, then yeah, it's 100% possible. And it reminds me of a story, I think it was about Picasso, and his dad instilled the belief in him when he was younger that he would be a successful artist. And that's what he became, because that was the belief that was instilled into him. So if you have that belief and, like I said, the desire and the drive, then yeah, anything's possible to achieve.
But that level of skill, you think people could get to that level, like a Picasso or a Beethoven, if they practice and if they have the drive and belief in themselves?
I think so.
Okay. Very curious. I love asking that question because everyone has such a different answer. So thank you. What has creativity taught you personally and brought to your life and allowed you to experience and step into?
I think it's really let me step into surrendering to the process and really letting go. Because you really have to let go and just allow things to happen, because it doesn't always go as you think it's going to go.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What you have in your mind isn't always what pans out on the canvas once you create it.
Yeah, very true.
So really surrendering to the process is big, and that goes for life too, like surrendering to the process of life. It's helped me do that in different ways as well, not just in my art, but in my life too.
Okay. Do you believe that art, particularly your paintings, can serve as a tool for empowerment or social change? And if so, how?
That's why I create my art. It's because I want to empower people. I want to empower them to own who they truly are, to not be afraid to be who they are. And I think one of the biggest things is like when someone has art on their wall, it's almost like a reminder of being brave. Because if you think about it, artists have to be so brave to share their expression in the world. If you look at it in that sense, seeing a painting every day almost reminds you to be brave yourself. If that person could be brave to share their self-expression, then I can share my expression with the world as well.
Yeah, it does take a lot of courage and strength to share your art. How did you deal with that when you first started and you first started sharing your art? Did you find it very hard to do that, or was it fairly easy for you, or?
I think I found it fairly easy for me, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I mean, it's slightly scary at first. Okay, is it because you start comparing yourself to the big artists out there, the big artists, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be good enough? Are people going to think it's good?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I think it's amazing. So I'm going to put it out there. And then when you actually see people's reactions, it's wow, like it hits them so deeply emotionally that it's wow. You just feel it, and it's like, no matter what I create, it's going to have an emotional impact on someone. Someone is going to relate to it. Yeah. Not necessarily everyone. Like, my art isn't for everyone.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
But my audience out there is going to really connect with it and feel that deeply within their souls.
Do you ever take the time to sit and look at your art, go back and look at your art from years ago? Because I know for me, as a photographer, I do that from time to time just to remind myself of where I was and where I am now. And I look back at some of that stuff that I shot, say, I don't know, 20 years ago and think, oh my God, I can't believe I thought that was good. It's horrible. It's horrible. How did I think that was good? But then I think, you know what? For the time and at that time, I guess it was good. But it's just, I think for me anyways, it serves as a good reminder to see where you were and how far you've come, how you've progressed as an artist. Do you ever do that?
I do sometimes. And it's kind of the same feeling as you. It really does remind you of how far you've come along. And there are some paintings that when I moved out of my parents' say I left them there.
On purpose.
Yeah. I don't really resonate with that anymore. That can stay. It was great at the time. I'm glad I did it. It really, helped.
It was part of the growth, right?
Yeah. So yes, it's a great reminder of the growth within myself. And it's, wow, have I ever come along?
Were there any pivotal moments or challenges along your artistic journey that significantly influenced your growth and development as an artist?
I think shifting my attitude was a big thing, because you get those people that there's always that social norm, I guess you could say, that talks about the hungry artist. And it's, what the heck's that? I don't want to believe that. So shifting my attitude to something different. And it's like, artists can be absolutely successful. If you look at the ones that have achieved so much and have made such a huge impact in the world with their art, it's, if you shift your attitude that way and take on that perspective within yourself, you're going to succeed. I forget the question. I think I went on.
No, it's okay. What challenges, what have been some of the biggest, what have been some of the pivotal moments or challenges along your artistic journey that have significantly influenced your growth and development as an artist?
Yeah.
The mindset piece.
Yeah, definitely the mindset.
That's a huge thing. Mindset. I mean, not even just in art, but in everything. If you sit there and dwell on the negative and, as you said, you adopt that starving artist attitude, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Even imposter syndrome too. Like, that's something I've really had to work through. And because sometimes I'll be like, even speaking on this podcast, my initial thought was, am I good enough to speak on here? Am I successful enough? And it's, what? And then you have to catch yourself in those thoughts. And those aren't my thoughts. That's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
I am successful. I'm amazing. And I'm more than worthy of speaking on this podcast. Or absolutely being in this place where I am. So pushing past that imposter syndrome.
It takes a level of self-awareness, though, and to be able to catch yourself when you do get in those thoughts, say, wait a minute, where's that coming from? That's not me. That's not coming from me. That's coming from somewhere else, and I need to get rid of that. I need to shed that. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very important topic.
Yeah. And the first is becoming aware of the different thoughts you're having.
Yeah.
And then once you actually catch yourself in those moments and you're able to shift them, that's huge. That's
sure.
A huge mind shift in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. As they say, art has the power to heal. All different art forms, music, photography, painting, all of it, literature. Have there been instances where your art or the act of creating art has been a source of personal healing and transformation for you?
I like this question. It really has. There's been so many moments where it was such a healing process for me. Like, even a situation I had with my landlord, I was really upset with my landlord in college. And I went to my art as a form of healing. And I sat there and I grabbed black paint because I was angry.
Yeah.
So I just started slapping black paint on the canvas. And then it got to the point where it's just this almost the whole canvas was black. And I'm like, okay, girl, you need to calm down or this whole canvas is going to be nothing.
A black hole.
Exactly. So then I'm like, okay. And then I started painting rainbows across it and infused my happiness into it. And I felt so good after that I threw all my anger into that painting to heal. And that was when I left at my parents' house. That was, it was like, okay, that was an anger painting. Even through heartbreaks and stuff too, I would sit there for the full week and just paint all my emotions onto this canvas. Everything I was feeling, cry and paint, and
yeah,
leave me alone. I've got to paint. And when I was done that painting, it was almost like a form of letting go. And it was like, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah, you've released it.
Yeah, so I've used it as a form of healing more than once, that's for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced as a self-taught artist, and how have they contributed to your growth and resilience?
I think maybe like the perception that people see as me being a self-taught artist and, oh, she might not know everything. But once again, I don't think that you need to be formally educated in that way. And if you have that desire to create, then you will evolve and expand your own creativity over time. So I think social standards would be the biggest thing that I needed to let go of, and be willing to go against the grain.
Right.
And I made that a part of my book too, going against the grain, because if you're, staying within that box and so structured, you're not going to see all the amazing things that you could create outside of that.
Yeah.
And stepping into something different.
You went to college for ECE, you said it was?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What did your parents think about you coming home and telling them, nah, this ain't for me, I'm going to be an artist?
So it wasn't like that right away.
Okay.
After ECE, I did apply to a position, and I would have got the position. They were super excited that I applied. And I actually called right before the interview, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want the interview. This isn't what I want. And they were really disappointed, the people that wanted me in that position. But I realized that this isn't what I want to do. I love the children, being around the children, but it was more of the rules and regulations that just didn't feel good to me. Even when I was in a school age program, I think it was a kindergarten class, there's the no hands policy in schools. And I had a child sitting on my lap, and I was reading to him. And I got in trouble for that. For having him sit on my lap. And that just broke my heart, because it was there were some really troubled children in that class. And that could have been the only love that child received all day.
Yep.
So it just broke my heart seeing that. And certain things, it was I don't want to be a part of this. I'm sorry. This isn't
it's not for me.
Yeah. And then after that, I kind of went into some different jobs along the way, which eventually led to, I joined during COVID, I joined as a Norwex consultant, which is natural personal care products, cleaning products. And my leader invited me to a personal development training. So through that training, it was called Ignite Your Calling. And I was like, oh, okay. So I watched all the videos, and I was doing the questions in the workbook. And every question kept leading back to my art. And it was and I kind of tried to push that aside and reject it. It was no, I need to relate it back to the job I'm doing at the time. And you push it aside and reject those thoughts. And then a few months later, I went back and reflected on those questions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, everything was leading back to my art. What am I meant to be doing here? And it really started leading into my purpose in life and figuring out my purpose. And I started asking myself those really hard and deep questions of what am I here to do on earth? And it was I'm meant to create.
I'm not here to sell products.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here to create and put so much creativity and happiness and color into the world.
What do you hope that your viewers experience or take away from encountering your artwork? And how do you aim to connect with your audience on an emotional or intellectual level when you create?
So when I create, I want them to see where they're going, their growth journey. See the art as having it on their wall will help them to get to where they want to go and see themselves within the piece of art. But I also want them to see things beautiful memories that they've had. I had my uncle taking a look at my gallery the one day, and one of my paintings, it's kind of this fiery sunset or sunrise type of painting. And he got so emotionally connected. He was like, this reminds me of the trip I took with one of my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded him of that trip and that amazing time that they had together there. And he ended up buying that piece of artwork and putting it up in his office, because now that reminds him every day of that beautiful moment he had, that memory, and almost takes him back to that place.
Yeah.
So it's good for the memories, but also to help you own who you truly are and where you're going and better yourself.
That, for me, I know was one of my favorite things, exhibiting my art and having people walk into the booth and look at a piece. And I'd ask them, what do you see? What does this bring to you? What is this bringing out for you? What do you see when you look at it? And hearing what people saw, like that, because everyone sees something different in a piece. And that, to me, is one of the most gratifying, satisfying, and exciting parts about being an artist, is hearing what other people pull from your work and what that brings up for them when they look at it.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. Like seeing different people's perspectives based on who they are, their different experiences in life. It is so cool to see. And once you say that, it reminds me of when I showed my nephew. He was I think he was like maybe 6 at the time, or even 4, I don't remember. But I showed him one of my paintings, and it's kind of it's called Beautifully Fierce. And it's like beautiful, like red and orange, yellow, like fiery swirls. And it's kind of like a big wave of them across the canvas. And I asked him, like, what do you think of my painting? And it kind of looks like a tomato tornado. And I thought that was the best thing in the world. I almost changed the name because I'm like, that's a fantastic name for it.
Tomato tornado. I love it.
Right? But he saw it from his perspective. He had watched just recently that week, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So
there you go.
That spaghetti swirl, those tomato tornado.
Yeah. That's awesome. It is. It's so great to hear other people's interpretations of our work. It's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you push yourself outside of your comfort zone and continue to evolve as an artist?
I think, once again, it goes back to being open to just trying something new, step outside of my comfort zone, think outside the box. And you know what? When I do that, whenever I just sit down and allow myself to I don't have any idea in mind, and I just start slapping paint on a canvas, that's when the most amazing paintings come out of it. I didn't even know I could do that, or that this idea would come out of that, because I'm just allowing myself to have fun and allowing myself to play. I think that's the biggest thing, to just not be afraid of messing up or how things are going to turn out, and just have fun and play. And the things that will come out are incredible. And I've been doing that a lot more lately, rather than just staying like super structural, like this is how I want this painting to be. It's like, I'm just going to go at it and see what comes out of it. Like, have sort of an idea in mind, but
no real plan. I think that, because kids have that within them, right? They just create, they just do whatever. And I think as we get older, it gets conditioned out of us. Things have to look this way, or you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way. And then we just, as adults, we get scared of, we'll call it coloring outside of the lines, because this isn't how it should look, or this isn't, well, who says that's how it should look? It could look any fucking way you want. It's art. You create whatever you want, whatever you feel, whatever your heart and mind call you to create. But it gets conditioned into us that it's got to look a certain way. You've got to color inside the lines and all of these different things. So it's hard to break out of that conditioning. But kids, they just go. And that's what we need to do, is return to that childlike mind and that childlike behavior, and just create. Do whatever your heart feels.
Yeah, exactly. Just allow whatever is in that moment and just play and have fun. And honestly, I've been creating a coloring book, which will be out really soon. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. But I've been creating it in a way of how I would have wanted a coloring book to be as a kid. Just so like fun.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Nope.
By all means, it is not perfect. Let me tell you. But when I would mess up on lines, I would be like, okay, another line's going to be there now. And I would just add another line, and then it would branch off into different things that I didn't expect to happen. And it's become such a unique and cool coloring book because of that.
Yeah. Well, that's part of what creativity is, right? Just creating whatever comes to mind.
Yep.
I love that. Now, I want to jump into your world as an author. As mentioned, you were an award-winning author, and you've mentioned the book a couple of times. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about the book you wrote. First of all, was writing something that was always part of who you are, or is that a fairly new endeavor? And can you tell us about the book, the title, the theme, all of that stuff?
Yeah, of course. I think that writing always has been a part of me. Like, my mom's kept a memory box for me, and I went through it a few years ago, and it had like different projects that she kept from when, like, throughout all of grade school, these different like writing projects or art projects that she kept for me. So to even see like how much color I used in my art back then, it was really neat to see. It's, oh yeah, I'm still the same. Like all the colors, bright and vivid. But as for writing, I had all these different creative writing projects, and they were, wow, my imagination, like I let it run wild for those projects.
Yeah.
Like one little writing piece was about, so funny. I want to frame that. It was hilarious. It was about like Santa losing his underwear. His sleigh ran into a ditch and he had to go find his underwear. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they have, and then something about his bag being full of money, and I'm like, where did this even come from? That's amazing. What? So I think it's always been there throughout my growth journey. But then there were some pivotal moments that made me realize that I wanted to write a book. So like the first one was my first art mentor. He was at a fair that I went to, and his table had this book on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's this book about? And he told me that he wrote sort of like a biography about himself and his art. And I'm like, whoa, that is amazing. I want to do that one day for my art. And that was kind of that first moment. And then along the journey, as I got more into personal development and figuring out like what I want to do with my life, it kind of sparked again, like, I kind of want to write a book. Like, I feel like that would be really fun. And then I was actually gifted, my grandma, she never told me this, but she had been working on a book, a family book, for I think over 10 years she worked on. So from longer than that, actually, because it was from when I was really little, she started. And she planned to give it to me when she eventually finished. But it was about our family history from her side, which was so beautiful. And she actually published it as a book and everything and gave it to me for Christmas. And that was right before I published my book and everything. And it was like, wow, if Graham can do this, like I can do this too. Like it was like, wow, go Graham. That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
So then, through personal development, I'm like, I really want to help people. Like I discovered that, because at first it was like, oh, I'll just write a biography about my art. But then I took a branding foundations program with Tiffany Newman. And throughout that, really developing my brand, like discovering who I am, what I want to bring to the world, I discovered that I want to not just write about myself, but actually help people through this book. And I began to discover all the things that I pushed through as an artist and all the different ways I've evolved. And then the framework kind of just fell into place. And my framework for the book is my 4 I's framework. Which is imagination, inspiration, intuition, and ignite. And it's kind of like the journey you take as an artist and evolve along the way. Like for me, everything starts within your imagination. So really, like I said at the start of my book, I added, if you don't think you have a creative imagination, like I'm here to burst your bubble. That's the start of my book. It's everyone has this beautiful imagination, and really helping people through on how to utilize their imagination in a beneficial way and utilize it to create these beautiful ideas. And then it goes into inspiration, where you're seeing inspiration in all you do. Because inspiration's everywhere. If you're open to seeing it and open to seeing the opportunities around you. And then you move into your intuition and really feeling into things and what feels right, what doesn't. It's kind of like that gut feeling within you where it's like, for me, intuition is really like trusting in God and what he's saying through you and allowing him to work through you. And I find that as soon as I surrender and just trust and allow my intuition to play, the most amazing things happen. Just allowing and feeling into everything, listening to my gut. Because it will tell you if something's wrong, like when you're going down a certain path and it's like, you get that queasy feeling of you probably shouldn't take that path.
Yeah.
But if you're happy and you feel super good about it, then by all means, that's probably the right path for you. So listening to your intuition, and then it goes into ignite. And that's really igniting your bravery, your confidence, your faith, just all these things that I believe are already within people. They just need to bring it out of them.
Yeah, they need to be birthed.
Yeah, exactly. Almost, rebirth yourself. Yeah, so that's truly what the empowered creator means to me, is going through all those different steps to...
Okay.
And honestly, writing the book, I didn't know this was going to be what happened, but through writing the empowered creator, I feel like I became the empowered creator. Like, it was this evolution of myself. Yeah. And that's kind of like evidence in itself that it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
And when was the book released?
It was released actually about a year ago now.
Okay.
I think it's been close to a year.
Well, we'll put the links for your artwork and your book in the show notes when we release your episode so people can check it out. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think my superpower is to help people see that, to be inspired to be who they truly are. Because I'm someone who is unapologetically me. I'm me, and I'm going to be me, and I'm not afraid to express who I truly am. And I've always been that way, a little bit different from everyone else. Even in high school, I did my makeup differently than everyone else. I did cat eyes all the time. And I would wear flowers in my hair, and no one else did that. But I was like, I don't care. This makes me happy. I'm going to be me. And that's always come into play with my art too. I've never been afraid to express who I am.
Yeah.
So I think inspiring people to be who they truly are and unapologetically and push fear out of the way.
That's a beautiful skill set. Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
I feel like that's such an interesting topic because people define success so differently. To me, because some people will think, oh, you have to have lots of money or have lots of business coming in or like all these different things. Or it comes down to like numbers and stuff. And to me, no. Like, to me, success is living your purpose. When you're truly living your purpose and being who you're meant to be, you're like, that brings so much joy to myself living in my purpose. When I'm actually doing what I'm meant to be doing, I experience so much happiness and joy. And that to me is success.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think probably trusting the timing of things, because that can be really difficult to have full faith and trust in things.
Yes, because we get impatient.
Yes, we get very impatient. And it's like, when is this coming? Or is it coming? Like that mindset, like things come into your mind, the doubt, those little seeds of doubt. But to really trust and be like, okay, I know that everything is lining up exactly how it's supposed to. And I was watching this video too, and it was talking about how God is never early, but he's never late. And it's true. Everything does happen in its divine timing. So that really pushes you to have that faith. And it's okay. Just have the faith. You know that it's all going to work out as planned.
Work out how it's meant to. Trust and allow.
Exactly. And I truly do believe that everything happens for a reason. So even if you don't see the reason why a circumstance is happening at the time, it's happening for a reason and it's helping you evolve in these different ways. And you might see it in the future and be like, oh, that's why that had to happen in the past.
Yeah.
Or you might not see it at all, but it still had to be there for your growth for a certain reason.
Yeah. It's happening for you, not to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is a hard mindset to adopt. We have to, but we do. I mean, I think that every situation that occurs in our lives, there is, whether it be positive or negative, there's a silver lining in there, and you have to be able to, which again takes practice and work, but you have to be able to step outside of it and look in to be able to pull the silver lining, be able to pull the message or the gift out of that situation. And there is one silver lining or a gift or a message in every single thing that happens for us.
I totally
reframe that.
Yeah. There's always a silver lining.
Yeah.
I had this one situation. I was watching out my window the one day. I wrote a blog post on this because I was like, oh my gosh. But I was watching these pigeons on our garage roof. And there was like a pigeon family. There was the mom, the dad, and then this little baby pigeon. And they were just like pecking at the baby, like cleaning it. And it was just like this like beautiful pigeon family moment. And I'm like, that is the sweetest thing in the world. And then all of a sudden the parents like fly off and I'm like, oh, where are they going? And the baby was trying to fly off. And then bam, this like big crow or something like came and flew at the baby. Or something. Yeah. And it took the baby down and I watched the baby die and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like traumatized from that moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm like thinking that was so unnecessarily. I did not have to witness that. What the heck was that all about? But we're talking about there's always that silver lining. And it kind of taught me to really like enjoy all those moments, like really be present in the moment and enjoy every moment. Yeah. And that baby pigeon was doing with his family was just being so present and enjoying all the love from its parents. So that was a good reminder for me. And that's how I chose to take it, right? Yeah, yeah. Because I could choose to see it as doom and gloom. That was
that was horrific. Why did the parents leave the baby?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, okay, there's that silver lining. Yeah. I used to take it as like a learning moment. So that's what I chose to take it.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
So like the word empowered to me means like having confidence, bravery, expressing yourself like who you truly are. But then empowerment to me means helping others to do the same, to be able to have confidence in themselves, bravery, boldness, and truly express who they are.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to jump into the little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing. Okay.
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Empowered.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Being unapologetically me.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would that be?
To be who they truly are. I know it all kind of ties into it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Oh, I like that. My kind heart.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Ability, balance.
If you had a song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would it be?
I like that. Wow. Oh, what's the song called? It's one by Beyonce. It's I Was Here.
Okay. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question. I've been doing this lately for my guests. So you haven't seen this question. I didn't send it to you at a time. If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it and give it to people, what would it be?
Oh, I like that. It would be empowered, like the feeling of empowerment.
Okay. What is an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for?
Honestly, there's so many because along the way, everything's really pushed me into my journey. But one that I think of the most when you ask that is when me and my best friend back in the day got into a fight. And it made me, I didn't have a super lot of friends at the time. So I'm like, well, I don't really have much to do. So now that we weren't talking, so it was kind of like that alone moment. And it really pushed me into my art and creating more art. And that's when I started my art became like a bigger hobby than it was before. Like before I just painted for fun here and there, but it started becoming more of a hobby. And then I started was doing like 4 paintings a month at that point because I had nothing else to really do. So I'm like, I just turned to my art and it put that focus on that. And
if you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Oh, it's hard, Brad, because I feel like you cover all these super deep questions. Probably, what's my why?
That was the next question.
There
you go.
There we go.
What is your why?
My why is when I delve deep to really define what it is, because I thought I knew what it was at one point, and it was like, no, it's deeper than that. And when I went the deepest I could, overall, it's to better the world. To better the world as a whole. Because I believe if we better ourselves, we better the world. It's kind of like that ricochet effect and, ripple effect. And as I begin to better myself, the people around me, it ripples into them and they begin to slowly better themselves too. And then that ripples out into their friends and it's a big ripple effect.
Yeah.
So the betterment of the world.
Yeah. What's something surprising that you've learned about yourself in the last year?
How determined I am and how much I will not give up on what I believe in. My passion. I have so much passion and drive. And even the moments of doubt where it's like, why am I even doing this? This is really hard.
Of course.
It's really hard being an entrepreneur. But then it goes back to my why. And it's like, why am I doing this? And it's like my determination. I'm never going to stop. Like no one can say anything or do anything. There's no circumstance that can make me stop what I'm trying to build and achieve.
Yeah. Love it.
My drive is
If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why? I
think my great grandma Katy. She's the one that I'm named after. And I never got to meet her. She passed away before I was born. But I'm named after her for a reason. And she was very, she used her creativity in a lot of beautiful ways. She used to tie fly fishing ties and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I really like to talk to her and see more about where I came from and those different aspects.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
To not let the little things bother me. Because back then I did. If my brother was teasing me, it would bother me. If I stubbed my toe in the morning, it would ruin my whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I know that all it takes is a simple shift in attitude. That's all it takes. If something bad occurs, some uncomfortable circumstance, you shift your mindset, your whole day is going to go amazing after that.
Yep. If you don't, your day is going to go to shit.
Exactly. And then it just ricochets and everything bad happens after another. And people wonder why that happens. And it's creating that.
Yeah.
Shift
absolutely.
Your attitude.
We always have the power to choose.
Yeah.
For sure. Lastly, Katy, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
It would be that we all have beautiful imaginations and to use our imaginations for good and to create a better world around us, to be who you truly are, go against the grain, think outside the box, and not be afraid to try something new.
Katy, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. It has been an absolutely beautiful, enlightening, and inspirational conversation. Thank you for taking and making the time to share a little bit about who you are, the journey you're on, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you're creating. I appreciate you, and I'm grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community.
Yes, I love this conversation so much. So thank you so much for having me. I do really appreciate it.
My pleasure and my honor. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Katy Speziale. She is a self-taught artist, an award-winning author, a creativity cultivator, a growth catalyst, celiac enthusiast, and a foodie. Thank you so much, Katy. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Thanks so much, Brad.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.